For my hero of faith, I would like to share about a man named Richard Twiss. His name kept coming up in readings where I would read from authors that were really shaping me, like Mark Charles, Soong-Chan Rah, Randy Woodley, and they would often mention Richard Twiss as an influencer of their thinking and in their footnotes. Richard Twiss is a Native American man of the Lakota tribe. He grew up on a reservation in South Dakota, and he eventually found his way in Vancouver. He connected with indigenous peoples around the globe, attempting to help them realize the beauty inherent in their own cultures that he saw as a missionary effort, that they were the most broadly spread people group in the world and thus were most positioned to do missions globally. In his own faith, he came to Christ actually during a drug overdose. That he was a very troubled and angry youth. He moved and became a part of a faith community and quickly became involved in leadership and devoted his life to this pursuit of the recovery of his own culture and the transformation of it in light of the gospel. Western culture, majority culture, individuals in America, this ministry is key and important, particularly in the dialogue today, where America's cultural captivity to Western values is shown on the global stage in really problematic ways. Let's not forget how this year started with Christians joining the insurrection at the Capitol. So his major role is helping people contextualize the gospel into their indigenous cultural settings, what God is doing to redeem and transform and kind of de-escalate the pride of Western Christianity. In his speaking, he describes coming to faith as this sense of overwhelming peace. Let me quote from him here. He says, "It was the most peaceful, joyful, happy, elated experience I had ever had in my life." Has this comical angle on his own life work where he felt like what he needed to do was to become more and more educated.
A few of us, a number of years ago, First Nations guys and gals, we decided that theology needed to be rescued from colonial thinking. And so we all went to get PhDs. We figured if we could become smarty pants Indians and get these pieces of paper that validate our opinions in the world of the academy, perhaps then we could begin to deconstruct.
And him and his cohort of people that I'm attempting to learn from, and that's how I found out about Richard Twiss, he sought to shape the conversation on decolonizing the faith through applying himself in the academy. Obviously, it's successful because I'm reading books by people who have been shaped by him and his cohort. In reading about Richard Twiss and hearing from him and his own voice, there are a couple of spiritual practices that really stand out to me, or maybe spiritual formation contours of his life. One is that he very much valued his family life. Since his own father had left him at an early age, he wanted to be a present father, so he would bring his children on his speaking tours and with him in his travels. Family life was a theme that people describing how he lived his life. He stayed very much invested in his family. So amid all of these lofty pursuits, staying rooted in family, I feel like is not an insignificant spiritual practice, and viewing family as the place of spiritual formation, I think, is a New Testament contour, and it's something I think we, particularly in the West, often sacrifice at the idol of success and influence or education, our very families. Richard Twiss did not do that. I think that's part of the ballast to his ministry. Another spiritual contour of his life is the use of humor to connect with people, which I think the church needs more of. Thank you, Richard. He sought the common ground between his indigenous cultures and their practices, their habits, the things that they did that made them feel who they were, and trying to find areas of common ground between those practices and Christ. And so what I see is this place of spiritual formation, of cultural optimism, that things that we're doing in our culture that are actually able to point us towards God and a redeemed expression of each culture. So why do I think his ministry and his spiritual formation and this cultural redemptive narrative and dialogue is important? Because I think Western Christianity needs to more seriously consider its how it's alloyed to Western culture, becoming more culturally aware through the prophetic and even rebuking voice of minority cultures. We can further transform our culture to bend in obedience to Christianity. I hear Richard Twiss's attempt at decolonizing the faith as a transformative opportunity for Western Christianity to become humbled and transformed in and of itself, seeing spiritual formation through the lens of culture. All right, I hope that's helpful. I can't wait to see the heroes of faith that have shaped you.